What's up, awesome YouTubers? Ryan1988 or Justin back here to do a video for you guys. And today's video, I'm here to talk about a favorite film for every year I've been alive. And this is a video response to my buddy Nathan Jones. So before I get started, please go subscribe to his channel. I'm gonna leave his channel down in the description. Nathan is a buddy of mine on here, a good buddy, a good friend. I love his channel. I love his videos. Fantastic guy and fantastic YouTuber. So please go subscribe to him. But check out his video that he did on every year, or favorite film from every year that he's been alive. Or favorite films. Awesome video. And so I wanted to do a video response to him and talk about my favorite films from each year I've been alive. And some years only have one movie. Other years have two movies. I had to do a tie. I almost did an honorable mention, but I decided to just do a tie with certain years because, for example, one year can only have that one movie that stands out for me. And there's, another year like 1988 where two movies stand out for me. So while this list was easy, it was also really hard because I also left off some other great movies. So I hope you enjoy my list of my favorite films from each year I've been alive. Or, yeah, favorite films? Favorite film or favorite films. And definitely do a video response. Either do a video response to Nathan or myself. I love these type of lists. I think they're fantastic. And they're a lot of fun to do. And it's a great way to get to know other film lovers out there in the community. So anyway, guys, let's get started. 1988, so the year I was born, two movies that I absolutely love came out, and the first one is Die Hard. So, I had to put this one on the list. I absolutely love this film. Obviously, I did not see this movie until, I would say, mid-2000s or late 2000s, not early 2000s, late 2000s. But it's grown on me quite a bit. I've always loved the film, but each time I watch the movie, I love it more and more. So Die Hard, I had to put that one on the list. But a movie that I grew up with countless times watching it on VHS, DVD, TV, Blu-ray, and now 4K is Beetlejuice. So Beetlejuice, Tim Burton's Beetlejuice, absolutely love this film. And I'm so happy it came out in 1988, so that makes it even better. So, love that film. Going on to 1989 is Batman. So, this one was not too hard as far as a year goes of what movies I wanted to put on this list. So, Batman for 1989. Honestly, this movie scared me as a kid, and I had a VHS tape of this film, and the reason why it scared me, it didn't overly scare me. I just think Jack Nicholson as the Joker creeped me out quite a bit, so I had a hard time watching it for the first few years I was alive, alive. It was a hard watch for me as a kid, but I love it now, and 1989, had to put that one on there. 1991, I believe, 91? Let's see, I gotta look at my list. Oh, I'm sorry, not 1991. 1990 was my second favorite Tim Burton movie. And that is second favorite or favorite. It goes back and forth. But anyway, Edward Scissorhands, 1990. Absolutely love it. Just a, classic film for me. I watch it every Christmas. Not on Christmas Day, but throughout the month of December. I have to put this on once a year. Fantastic performance from Johnny Depp, Winona Ryder. The entire cast is amazing. And this is a tie between Edward Scissorhands and Beetlejuice. Which one is my favorite Tim Burton movie? But I love that film so much. Going on to 90, I gotta look at my list, 91, 91, two movies came out that I absolutely love. One is a Disney movie The other one is one of the best sequels ever made. So the Disney movie is Beauty and the Beast, which that is just classic film for me. I think like many of us, we all grew up with Disney movies, and Beauty and the Beast was one of those ones that I loved as a kid and I still love now. And then the other movie that came out in 1991 was Terminator 2, Judgment Day. So when I was looking at films that came out in 1991, I kept going across so many great movies, and the two that really stuck out the most for me were Beauty and the Beast and Terminator 2. So yeah, one of the best sequels ever made. I like that movie because it almost stands on its own. I mean, the first one's a classic, and I absolutely love that. That's my favorite of the franchise. But Terminator 2 stands on its own, and it's one of the best sequels ever made. And I know a lot of people put that as their favorite of the franchise. For me, it is so close up there. Like 1 and 2 were tied. So, but Terminator 2, absolutely love it. Let's keep going on. So 1992, again, a really tough year. I only picked one movie. I want to give a shout out to Batman Returns though, because I do love that. But the movie that I had a really big impact on was Aladdin for 1992. That movie right there, or this movie right here, just a lot of memories. And, for me, Disney movies, I know, growing up, we all grew up with Disney movies and we love them. But like a film like Aladdin really got me through some hard times as a kid because, I was diagnosed with cancer at 3 years old. And so dealing with that, Disney movies were an escape for me. So Aladdin was one of them. I absolutely love that film. So I had to pick that one, and I only picked that movie. I know Batman Returns is so good, and I almost put it on the list. So I'm just mentioning it right now. Batman Returns, awesome, and I actually like it better than the first Batman movie from Tim Burton. So going on, 1993. I picked one movie, and this was a no-brainer. I absolutely love it, and for a lot of us, I know when we watched it, especially growing up, this was a film, seeing it, where we thought dinosaurs were real because of the great visuals, and that is the first Jurassic Park. So absolutely love that movie. That one I did not see in theaters, but I saw it when it came out on VHS. So great memories with that though. 1994, again, another year where I had to do a tie. One movie, grew up with, love it. Again, a Disney movie, and I think you all know what I'm talking about. The other movie was a film that I loved it the first time. I've grown to love it even more and more. And it's one of those films that it never gets old, and I absolutely love it. So it's a classic film. But the Disney movie I'm talking about is The Lion King. So absolutely love that movie. Again, kind of like with Aladdin and I think one of the other Disney movies I mentioned, Beauty and the Beast, just movies I grew up with. I absolutely love them. And then the other film from 1994 was Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction? Hopefully I'm saying that right. Just classic Quentin Tarantino. I go back and forth between this and Jackie Brown as my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. But as I was coming up with this list, I do love Jackie Brown. I think that is such a great underrated film from Quentin Tarantino. But Pulp Fiction is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. Absolutely love it. So 1995, again, I had to do another tie. I had to mention one movie because, again, I grew up with it. I grew up with both these movies. One of them had more of an impact than the other film. The first movie I'm talking about is a film where, as 90s kids or just growing up in general, this movie made you believe that your toys could come to life, and that is Toy Story. Saw this movie in theaters. I remember vivid things about it, seeing it in theaters. I remember waiting in line with my dad to see this movie, and I remember the poster outside the theater. And so Toy Story I had to mention. It's just one of my all-time favorite films. And then the other film from 1995 was the great comedy. I love this comedy. It is definitely in my top 5 or top 10 favorite comedies of all time. That is Clueless. I love the fact that you just have such a smart script here from the director, I believe Amy Heckler? I could be wrong. She directed Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I believe she wrote this movie too. So you have a smart script. It's not your typical teen movie. It stands out from a lot of them, and I just absolutely love it. I think the reason why it stands out again is you have just a really good script here, and you have great performances. You have very relatable young adults, especially for the 90s. They were so good in this movie. Acting great all around. Alicia Silverstone, fantastic. I love Clueless. It never gets old for me, and all I could say is rolling with the homies. Going into 1996, another teen kind of film, but in a different genre. My favorite genre, which is horror movies. And that is Scream. And I'm wearing my Scream shirt right now. But 1996, this was a no-brainer for me. Scream, had to be on the list, and this is my favorite film from that year. I absolutely love Scream. Again, like with Clueless, just clever writing, a clever script, a sort of satire for slasher movies and horror movies that came out before this. Again, you have a great cast and great acting, great twists and turns. I love Scream, and rest in peace to Wes Craven, because I know he's missed by so many people. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Scream 5, so I'm hoping that one's a good one. It's going to be tough to have Scream without Wes Craven, though, but I'm glad we're going to have the original cast come back. And if you've never seen the movie Ready or Not, check that one out, because the directors and writers of that film are directing the new Scream movie. And, with them behind the film, I have some faith that that movie is going to be good. So 1997, again, I just picked one movie. This, again, was like a no-brainer. I absolutely love it. There, of course, are other great movies that came out in 1997, but the film that I go to the most this year, is Titanic. I absolutely love it. Not a film that I saw in theaters, but a film that I remember when it came out on that double VHS tape. I used to rent it a lot, and then I remember owning the movie on VHS, and then of course DVD and Blu-ray, and maybe one day we will get a 4K, but I'm still waiting for True Lies and The Abyss on Blu-ray, Mr. Cameron. But Titanic, absolutely love this movie. It is one of my favorite love stories of all time. Never gets old for me. I think it just gets better and better, and I loved it the first time. Great visuals, amazing soundtrack, amazing score, and two of my favorite actors and actresses, Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. So absolutely love that. Definitely one of James Cameron's best movies. So 1998, I picked a horror movie, and I was going through 1998, and I kept thinking, what movie would I pick? I don't think 1998, in my opinion, was like the best year for film. When I was going through the films that I've seen, obviously. Obviously, there's other great movies out there, but going through 1998 and the movies I have seen, I went with a sequel that I love still today. Saw it back when it came out on VHS, and I think a lot of us who are fans of this franchise, our mouths dropped when we saw the end of this film, and that is Halloween H2O. The climax is fantastic. I love this film because this was the return of Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. My favorite portrayal of Laurie Strode in this movie, and my favorite performance as far as Jamie Lee Curtis being in the Halloween franchise, this is my favorite of hers. So Halloween H2O has a special place in my heart, so that's why that is 1998. So 1999, I picked two movies again, and they're different genres. One movie I could not leave out, and the other one I could not leave out. I grew up with both of them. So the first one is 10 Things I Hate About You. Just classic film, in my opinion. Clever writing again, for a teen comedy, a teen drama, teen comedy slash drama. I love this movie so much. Rest in peace, Heath Ledger. I just absolutely, I still love him today, even though he's passed. You know, I love his films, and I love seeing him on screen. I think he would still be acting today if he were alive and doing fantastic things. Well, overall, love the cast. Again, love the writing. It was a different type of teen comedy, and for me, it's a perfect movie. But the other movie I picked for 1999 was the Blair Witch Project. I absolutely love the Blair Witch Project, and my list would not be the same without the Blair Witch Project. I absolutely love it. So 2000 was pretty easy for me, because when I thought of 2000, the year 2000, I thought of the movie that I saw in theaters twice on the same weekend. I grew up with the 90s cartoon, and so for me, this movie had a huge impact on me growing up, and it still does today. It's obviously, we've had better made superhero movies come out, but I had to go with X-Men. I saw this movie twice in theaters. Some of the best memories I have seeing movies in theaters. For the time, Hugh Jackman was an upcoming actor. He'd been in some things, but I mean, this was a standout performance for him. Just Logan or Wolverine, hopefully I'm saying that right, in general, just a fantastic character. And Hugh Jackman, up until, the time he left the series, he just did a fantastic job. I know this movie can be a little outdated at times, but I love X-Men so much. It is just one of those movies, every time I watch it, the nostalgia just, kicks in, and I just absolutely love it. 2001, I went with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I had to think about that. 2001 had a lot of great movies come out. I like Lord of the Rings. I think those are great movies overall, but out of the two kind of movies, or the two movies that started a franchise or a series, the same year, Harry Potter for me was that film in 2001 that, even though I did not see it in theaters, I loved it right away when I saw it on, I believe, DVD when it came out. I remember the 2-disc DVD that they had, so I bought that. I loved it, and I've pretty much seen all the Harry Potter movies in theaters. So, but for 2001, I had to pick that movie. Again, growing up, that movie just had, I have great memories with that film and a lot of nostalgia. 2002, I went with The Ring, my favorite film of the year, and I was going through 2002, and I'm like, what movie am I going to pick? And it was pretty easy for me. Again, haven't seen all the films in 2002, but the movie that really stood out for me was The Ring, and I absolutely love this movie still today. Quite creepy, and it still gives me chills. 2003, I believe 2003. Yes, 2003. I almost went with X-Men 2, one of my favorite sequels of all time. But I decided to mix it up a little bit and talk about one of my favorite films still today. And every time I watch this movie, I want to go ride the ride at Disneyland, and that is Pirates of the Caribbean and the Curse of the Black Pearl. Pirates of the Caribbean, the Curse of the Black Pearl. Just love this film. The best of the series, hands down. Great cast again. Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow did such a fantastic job in this movie, and it still holds up today. I rewatched the franchise back in this past summer, and I love this movie so much. Going on, we have, for 2004, Spider-Man 2. Again, another year, I think, I just went with Spider-Man 2 for this year. But Spider-Man 2, definitely better than the first Spider-Man. Obviously, that film, again, when X-Men came out, Spider-Man was pretty groundbreaking. But then when Spider-Man 2 came out, I mean, it was a better film, better writing, better directing. Obviously, we got to know these characters already, and they added some other great characters in the movie. So Spider-Man 2, I absolutely love that film. 2005, again, it was pretty much a no-brainer of what movie to pick in 2005. I went with the movie that I think is definitely the best film that came out in 2005, and that is Batman Begins. So I absolutely love Batman Begins. This is a just great entry in the Dark Knight trilogy. It began the trilogy, and I just absolutely love this movie. So Batman Begins, again, that was not a tough choice for 2005. I absolutely love that movie. So going on, 2006, I almost went with Brokeback Mountain, but I think that film came out in 2005. I saw it when it came out on DVD in 2006, but I think that's a 2005 movie. I could be wrong. Yeah, 2005. So, honorable mention there, Brokeback Mountain. So, I'm not going to pick that movie because even though I did see it for the first time in 2006, the movie that came out in 2006, I absolutely love this film, and that is The Devil Wears Prada. One of my favorite, again, comedies, dramas, romance movies. Not really romance too much. It's just a fantastic movie in general. I love The Devil Wears Prada. I watch it every year around this time, and it never gets old for me. I think it actually gets better with each watch. I've always loved that film, but each time I watch it, I love it more and more. It's actually one of my go-to films quite a bit. But again, I try to watch it at least around this time of the year. But when it comes to like holiday movies, or not really a holiday film, but when it comes to films around this time that I like to watch, this one is always on the list. I love that movie. So 2007, I went with one of the best vampire films ever made. That is 30 Days of Night. Oh, I love this movie. And again, each time I watch it, even though I loved it the first time, I love it more and more. Fantastic setting. I love that it takes place all at night. The snowy setting's perfect. I think any scary movie that takes place in the snow is just, very effective. Fantastic cast, unique vampire film for the time, and still one of the best. So if you've never seen this, check it out. It's got some really good writing in it and some great scares. So if you want a movie that just has great scares, check this movie out. It is so good, and I absolutely love it. So 2008, like 2005 with that film, I had to go with the sequel to that movie. And honestly, in my opinion, it's better than the first entry, and it's the best out of the trilogy, and that is The Dark Knight. Again, another Heath Ledger movie. Fantastic performance, even though, he died shortly right after making this movie, and he was not alive when this movie came out. And he won Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars in 2008, or films from 2008, for The Dark Knight. The Joker, Heath Ledger, amazing, but you also have just a fantastic cast again. Christian Bale, I forgot to mention with Batman Begins. He's one of my favorites. I absolutely love him. Great Batman, even better Bruce Wayne. The Dark Knight, 2008 for me. Absolutely love it. 2009, again, a film that I knew right away what movie I was going to pick. I absolutely love this movie. A little bit more of an indie film, but you got two great leads. It's not the most happy romantic comedy or romantic movie out there. It's romance, comedy, and a drama mixed in one movie, and that is 500 Days of Summer. Absolutely love this. People might not know that I have this in my collection or a film that I love, but I love 500 Days of Summer so much. So let's keep going on, guys. So 2010, again, another tie. I had to do it. The first movie was Inception, Christopher Nolan's Inception. Absolutely love that film. Fantastic visuals, just love it. Did not see that movie in theaters, but I did see this movie in theaters, and at the time, just one of the best trilogies, and a film that made me cry, and that is Toy Story 3. Yeah, I love this movie. Made me cry in theaters. It tied at the time, the trilogy at the time, it tied it up perfectly well. Andy's story, just fantastic. I love Toy Story 3, so I had to mention Inception, but I also had to mention that one. Let's keep going on, guys. So 2011, I only picked one movie, and that is Bridesmaids. Just a great comedy, and one of the best cast one of the best overall cast from the past 10 years, or from the last decade. But Bridesmaids, absolutely love that. Tongue twisters, you gotta love them. 2012, I picked this movie. There were so many movies that came out in 2012 that I love, but I went with Skyfall, my favorite James Bond movie. Absolutely love Skyfall, and it keeps getting better each time I watch it, although I loved it for the first time when I saw it. 2003, I picked two movies. One movie is I believe the German Brokeback Mountain, or the German, yeah, it's pretty much like the German Brokeback Mountain. I love that film. And the other movie I had to pick for 2013. But the first movie is Freefall. It's a foreign film that I just absolutely love. Again, it's the German version of Brokeback Mountain, but I think it's slightly better. I love the performances. I love the two leads. Fantastic film right there. I had to mention that one. Every time I watch that movie, I still love that film. And the other film from 2013, and I think I keep saying 2003, but 2013 was Man of Steel. Absolutely love that film. Gonna keep going through these pretty quick, but we got 2014. I only picked one movie. This film right here is my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, and I saw this movie 4 or 5 times in theaters. Interstellar for 2014. Amazing movie. Still love it today. Very effective. Amazing score. I just love that movie all around. Yeah, just fantastic. My favorite film from the last decade, so love that. 2015 was Mad Max Fury Road. I know Force Awakens came out that same year, and I almost picked it, but then I went with Mad Max. Slightly better movie. Total surprise for everybody, because I think this movie got pushed back a little bit. It took a while for it to come out, but Mad Max Fury Road surprised everybody, and I absolutely love that film. George Miller, Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron. Absolutely love Fury Road. 2016, I picked one movie, and I had to go with the Star Wars movie. I still love this movie today. That is Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Absolutely love this film. Out of the newer Star Wars movies, this is my favorite one. I just absolutely love it. So, just fantastic standalone movie, and one of the best films from that franchise. So going on, 2017, Nathan picked this movie. Shout out to Nathan again. This video response to Nathan, but he did pick this movie for 2017. I did the same thing. I almost went with a tie with I, Tonya as well, but I went with this movie only, and I love it, and that is Call Me By Your Name. My favorite film from 2017. Absolutely love Call Me By Your Name. Everything about this movie, cast, music, setting, makes me cry each time I watch it. I just love that film. 2018, I went with Avengers Infinity War. Everybody knows about this movie, but it is fantastic. I absolutely love Infinity War. The first time I saw the first time I saw this, and then I saw Endgame, I liked Endgame slightly more, but this is a better film after rewatching them. I just love this film, and I still remember sitting in the theater, and when the end credits rolled, I wanted the story to keep going. I just love that movie so much. So Infinity War, fantastic. And then 2019, I'm just going to go with one movie here. Of course, Endgame is fantastic. I love it. But I actually went with a film that I think is a little bit underrated from that year. I know it gets mixed reviews, but I think it's amazing. And that is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You just have a wonderful cast here. I know it can drag a little bit. It could be a little bit longer than it needs to. But for me, at least, pretty much the entire time, a majority of the time, I'm invested in this movie. I love the writing. I like the twists and turns that the movie did. I love Quentin Tarantino's take on Hollywood at the time. Fantastic, guys. If you have not seen this movie in a long time and say you didn't like it the first time or you thought it was okay, go back and rewatch it. And I hope you enjoy it. I love that movie so much. So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 2019. And then 2020, which obviously has not been the best year for films. We've had some great films come out, but I went with a film I've seen twice now, and I love it more a second time, and that is The Invisible Man. So, yes, 2020, again, not the best year for film. Obviously, with the pandemic, a lot of movies have been pushed back, but there have been great movies coming out, or great movies that have come out, and I'll probably do like a list of films that I enjoyed or loved from 2020, but that is the best one, Invisible Man. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for sticking around. If you're still watching, I appreciate it. Thank you for, listening to my tongue twisters, and sometimes I can't speak, but you know what? It happens. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out Nathan Jones or Nathan's channel. Again, I will leave his channel down in the description. Subscribe, watch his videos. You won't regret it. Fantastic guy, a good friend of mine, and a good buddy. So as always, you guys are awesome. You guys rock. In with the positive, out with the negative. Go eat some Skittles, and so much love to you all. All right, guys. Bye.